Morning to my nerdy folks out here, to my normies and nerds. Let's give a couple more seconds for some folks to come in here. While we're waiting, what's up, XR Coon? Good to see you in here, dude. It's always good to see you. The race, the chase for someone to be first. So yeah, it's good to see you in here, XR Coon, man. What's going on? All right. Yo, what's up, Tim? Is this Tim today? What's up, Tim? What's going on, man? All right, let's get right up in here, yo. What's up, y'all? This is your normie sensei here in the dojo. Your normie sensei King Cunt Master Cunt in the building, and yo, I'm excited today because we're talking about that Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3 today, breaking that down, getting into some theories. Also, saw in there Everyday Geeks of the reaction to the new Black Widow trailer that dropped. My head's been tunneled in this episode here, so I haven't got to see the trailer yet. But go check out their channel for the reaction. But yeah, man, yo, episode 3. Before I get into it, I'm gonna give some folks a little bit more time to get in here and to dig in here before we really dive into this breakdown of the episode. But yo, tell me how y'all's day in the chat. What's going on, Tim? It's either Tim or Stormy with Everyday Geeks. XR Coon. Tell me how you all's day is going. What's shaking with your Saturday? My Saturday's been pretty chill. Got a little work done. Set up, cleaned up the dojo in here a little bit, spruced it up a bit here. Got a new desk, so I'm a little more chill, a little more relaxed, sitting here today in the dojo talking to you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys in the chat. How you guys doing there today? And we're a bit early here today too because one, I got some things to do with the family. So Saturday times are always going to be flexible. Just out of show notes, we're going to the show notes section now. Saturday times always going to be somewhat flexible. It'll either be later in the afternoon. It's always going to be after 12 o'clock. But yeah, dude, we're going to talk about. We're going to get into all the good stuff here in a second. So, like I said, Saturdays, anytime between 1 and I say 6 o'clock, Saturdays are liable to go down. Just check out the channel for that. We're going to be breaking down the latest episodes on Saturdays. And then on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock is when we get into the theory. What's up, Tim? Tuesdays at 9 o'clock is when we get into the theories. That's when we start digging into the shows, really coming out with what we're thinking is, happening and divulging in those theories. And then we're going to build on those theories on Tuesday and previews on Thursday for the new episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then even after the show goes off, we're going to be doing 3 streams a week. That's just what we do here at Normies and Nerds, so that we can help the normies build their character, build their training in the MCU content, so they can grow. You know what I mean? It's not about in here trying to prove how smart I am to some of these nerds or anything like that. This channel is about helping normies, helping people who come in here and want to understand more about what they're watching on TV. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold you guys long today. But am I? Am I? It just depends on how deep we get in this conversation here. But yeah, do me a favor, drop a like, share it in your channel, share it in your Discord, share it on your social media, all that good stuff. Let's get some folks up in this thing, man. So look, I want to talk first off just my raw reaction before we get into the breakdown. Before we go to the training grounds outside, we're gonna spend a little bit of time here in the dojo, get a little bit of stretching on, and talk about this episode, dude. So yo, first things first, my reaction for this episode. I always want to start off my reactions by giving a number. I'm giving this episode a 9. All right. And really, it could go up to a 9.5, but my expectations were high on Madripoor. And Madripoor hit, but it didn't hit all the way like I thought it would, like they would refer to some things in the comics. I fell victim to some of the theories and leaks out there. So Madripoor didn't really hit like that to me, but it was still good. So yeah, all in all, it was a 9. This episode was a 9. The tone of the episode was great from beginning to end. Something that I've said in the previous episodes. There's not a wasted scene in episode 2, and in this episode, there was not a wasted moment on the screen. Maybe a little bit with U.S. agent's time on the screen was a bit wasted, a little bit, but he was not on there much. He was maybe on the screen for maybe like a minute in total. But this whole episode was just very impactful, and the tone of this episode was just on point, from the actor's tone to the tone of the music to just the even the color tone, dude. In this episode, it was on point. So that's why, to me, I give this episode a 9, because what we're seeing here and what I'm thinking I'm starting to realize is that all of these, whether we're looking at WandaVision or what we've seen so far with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're building up to the climax that's going to come in the, pre-finale and finale. That's what we're building up to in every episode. So that's what I see here. This was a great, once again, a great building episode that let us know, give us a peek more into, give us a little bit more of a peek into what's going on here. So yeah, this episode, to me, this episode took the cake, dude. This episode really took the cake for me, dude, I loved it. Freaking loved it, dude. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your rating in the chat. What do you think about this episode? Do you give it a 1? 9 to 10? Do you give it a 9? Do you give it a 10? Just, let me know what you guys think about the episode in here. So, without further ado, I got that out the way. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into breaking down this episode. And, come on, let's go out to the training grounds here. All right, so, as usual, got the projector out here in the training ground. Someone needs to center this little, someone out there needs to, one of my trainees, they need to come out here, and one of my students need to come out here and center this little Zemo image. But yeah, we're going to talk about this breakdown. And one thing that stood out to me in Everyday Geeks, the Zemo dancing was beautiful. Yes, and to me, this episode was Zemo, dude. Zemo took the cake in this episode. So that's what I'm starting off with, man. I'm very, very, very impressed with Zemo. Let me look up something real quick. Zemo, actor, make sure I get his name right. Yeah, Daniel Bruhl. Daniel Bruhl killed Zemo this episode. I mean, we saw Zemo in Civil War, but we didn't get to hear Zemo talk that much. We didn't really get to dig into who Zemo is. But yo, Zemo killed it from the very beginning, off rip, in the prison scene. So, in the prison scene, we're talking about Zemo and what he's doing. I think, one, Zemo is having fun. One, Zemo wants to make sure that super soldiers we're not going to get a whole army. There's not going to be any more super soldiers. He wants to rid that super soldier serum. So that's step one to me. That's first and clear in his agenda. But also, the way he was talking with Bucky, he seemed to be having fun with having some control over the Winter Soldier again. Like, that gave him some kicks and giggles. That got him off, dude. And like, it's interesting because he says, you still have a little bit in you, and that's true. Bucky, it seems as if Bucky does still have a bit in him. Like, we see how hard he goes in the Madripoor bar when he's fighting. It's nothing to him. And like, that's the thing. People say once a killer, always a killer. But his mind state has changed for sure. But that aggressiveness with Bucky is still there, dude. Like, that Winter Soldierness, that Winter Soldier-esque thing is still there. So that's one thing that I really think that Zemo had fun with playing with today, playing with in this episode, was just like the Winter Soldier-esque thing. So in episode 3, in episode 3 preview that we talked about the other day, I mentioned that, this episode would be an episode for the villains. and I definitely still feel that type of way. So when we're talking about Zemo still, as I mentioned, he still kind of had to find his reason to live a bit. Zemo was about to kill himself, dude. Like he was done. He had no more reason to live. He was ready to go, so he was about to kill himself. And we see here that he's motivated, as I said, by eliminating the Winter Soldier serum off of this earth. So first off, first things first, I love the backstory a little bit that we get into Zemo. We find out that Zemo is a rich man, dude. Zemo is balling. So to me, that's not a throwaway line. It's setting up that this guy has the resources. So in Civil War, we felt like, yo, Zemo is just like an ex operative who, just knows how to do these things, is very talented. But no, Zemo has wealth. Zemo is very, very rich and he has resources. And to me, that sets up that he has the capability to stay on the run. That um, Zemo's going to have the capability to keep going, to stay free, and he's going to have the resources to stay out there and be a major player in the MCU moving forward. So, first off, that's the first thing we see on Zemo. Is talking about just his wealth, and he also possesses a wealth of knowledge. All right. So one thing about Zemo, he seems to have an understanding. The way he talks about the Trouble Man album, he knows how to relate with Sam. I don't think he's trying to build a rift there. I think it's just really trying to have a conversation, the first conversation that he's had in years. And he is, he's aware. He knows what's going on. He has a wealth of knowledge. So when you're looking at, let's go to Madripoor. That's where we're going to start there. This dude is a walking book. He knows where to go to find folks. He knows where to go to get his job done. So that's the thing with Zemo. He's just very, as always, he's a tactician, very much moving forward. I love that aspect of this episode. So when we get there, you have to ask yourself, what's Zemo's true intentions? All right, Zemo, like you said, Zemo's true intentions is to make sure that we don't have any more super soldier serum out there. He's not. His intention is not to renew, or his intention is not to prove that he's a good guy or to get on the good graces of the folks that's of Sam and Bucky. His main intention and only intention is to that we see right now is to stop the super soldier serum from getting out there. So that's where we see a bit of his, like willingness to break the rules. You know, we get his willingness to break the rules. We get his willingness to go out there and kind of carve his own path. Because at the end of the day, Zemo got his own plan, dude. From the time that he saw Bucky, he was formulating a plan, not just the plan to get out of prison, which I always think those plans are oversimplified. But it's a movie, slash show, so we'll get that. But he always has a plan moving forward. So with Zemo moving forward, that really didn't necessarily like that kind of absolves him of following orders in that type of sense here. So when we're talking about what Zemo was doing with when they went to go meet my man's, oh god, I'm blinking on his name, Nagel. When they went to go meet Nagel, he doesn't hesitate to kill him because that's it. He got his answer. He's like, oh, you the only dude that can do this? You're dead. You're out. And then at the same time, I think the only reason that he doesn't escape, the only reason why he doesn't run away, is because he wants to make sure those flag smashers are dealt with. He wants to make sure the rest of those 20 other vials of super soldier serum is found. So yeah, all in all, seeing Zemo in this episode, the way he talks about um, Sokovia being destroyed, the way he talks about that, and how it's kind of being cannibalized by neighboring countries. That's interesting to me. I love that. I love that tidbit. So yeah, that's the things that stand out to me. Is that one, he's very hell bent on making sure that this super soldier serum does not go anywhere else. Two, he wants. I really think that he wants to try to find a way to get somewhat control over Bucky. Like he's very impressed that the way that he's just able to flip the switch and become the Winter Soldier again. He wants to have some type of control to me over Bucky, and that makes sense. Like it seems to be fun. He's his protector. He's going to be his right hand man. And when we see them, I'm trying to pull up this scene here. This scene right here, this picture, this episode, the Zemo and Winter Soldier interaction has changed my mind a bit on whether or not Sam and Bucky are going to split at the end of this episode. Because Zemo seemed a bit comfortable, and Sam, and more importantly, Bucky seemed a bit more comfortable around Zemo. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but when Bucky was turning on his Winter Soldier mode, like he had no hesitation. He was very, very comfortable and at home in that mode there. What's up, Trinity? Thanks for jumping in here. He was very, very in that mode, in that moment. And to me, that's like one a little bit of foreshadowing. I mean, even Sam called it out. He's like, dude, you're a little bit casual for this. That's because he's talking about Zemo. And he even stated him and Zemo have a history. They have somewhat of a relationship. So, with that being said, he may feel more comfortable at the end of this series. He may feel more comfortable with Zemo. All right. So, last thing here before we move on into our next point is that a plot point that's going to be cut on. We all saw the woman with her cell phone taking a video of Bucky doing work, going ham. To me, that's another kind of point to point out that that Bucky is going to maybe veer off from Sam at the end of this episode because one, that violates his pardon. He's definitely going to be in trouble for that. The only people that will be able to get him out of trouble for that will be the government. So with all of that tying in, one, he's kind of building this relationship with Zemo. So they're going to be friends here. I think they're going to come together and be a bit closer. And then moving forward with Zemo, making his plan and making weaseling his way into creating the Thunderbolts. I think that's how we get to that point there. But, I'm talking about this now, but we all got that major wrench thrown in at the end of the episode, which kind of, would muddy the water with this theory that I'm talking about here, kind of muddy the water with Zemo's feature. So, let's table that for now and get into it at the end. But yeah, like I said, this episode to me, was a Zemo episode. Like, we got the villains and everything like that, but Zemo to me stole the show. His performance, we got to see him doing some action and, taking some folks down, showing that he's not just a tactician. He does have some special ops skills, all right? Like, he ain't just no slouch. So yeah, I love that. All right, so what we're going to get into next here is everyone's favorite city that they wanted to talk about before the episode was Madripoor. Let me know in the chat. What did you guys think about Madripoor? Madripoor looked cool. It's a very, it matched where it was. It seemed to be a bit more high tech than what we get in other countries. Like when they went to South Korea and Black Panther, the landscape and everything looked very colorful like that there. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very on brand with where they are in the geography or geological type of sense here. But when we're looking at Madripoor and we were coming in, I was looking like, dude, when this Madripoor scene was on, I was looking for every possible clue, like Omega Red or, Patch. At first, when they pulled up the Princess Bar, I thought it could have been Patch's bar. But Madripoor, like S.R. Coon, Madripoor looked dope. To me, it looked cool. And I'm not let down because WandaVision helped me out. WandaVision helps me temper my expectations and not feel so hurt when nothing happens. So, that wasn't let down that we didn't necessarily get a huge cameo in Madripoor. But yeah, dude, Madripoor was awesome. Yeah, and it's interesting because he's talking about the High Town and Low Town. So they went to Low Town. And that brings me to my next point. Sharon here lives in High Town. One, how does Sharon know that her people entered Low Town? Like, Sharon just out there watching everybody. Sharon just out there doing her thing. Nah, Sharon had some information. Someone sent Sharon out there to handle them and to guide them on the right process here. So, what are you saying, Kendall? Or Master Cunch? I'm sorry, I'm dropping my real name. What's up, Vern? I dropped my real name. What are you saying, Master Cunch? What I'm saying is that Sharon is iffy, dude. So look, let's think about this. Sharon didn't get blipped away. She says she went there to be on extradition because she became a villain. So Sharon is definitely in on something. And then what she is in on, to me, is the power broker. And I think Sam and Bucky are a bit naive to be trusting her. One, Sharon says she's over the superhero shit. Like she's not dealing with that no more. Like she doesn't believe in superheroes anymore. That's huge on her. And I wouldn't blame, can you really blame her? She threw away everything for them. And then now that, she's looking at Sam, Sam gave up the shield. She feels that Sam feels the same way that, damn, what are these superheroes like? The superhero shit is not the real way to go. But I don't think Sam really 100% feels like that. I think Sam feels like he has a duty to uphold to, or he has a duty to fulfill. I don't think he really feels the same way she does about superheroes. But when we're talking about Sharon, Sharon is, to me, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I think Sharon is working with the power broker, dude. How else? First off, power broker is like you said. Power broker is basically the ruler, the king of Madripoor. We see there the power broker is always watching. Power broker is always watching, dude. So how did she know that power broker was How did she know that Sam and Bucky came into Madripoor? Because the power broker told her, and the power broker sent her out to go guide them along the way. All right, like it's somewhat adding up. Everything that they did in Madripoor, I feel as if the power broker allowed them to do it. You know what I mean? And why? Because the power broker sees what they're after, and like something that a U.S. agent said, we're going to bet on the team with the better hand. Um, that's what power broker is doing. He's betting on the team with the better hand. He's betting on Sam and Bucky being able to find these flag smashers and being able to get this super soldier serum. So Sharon leads them, and that's the case. Sharon has a green light to kind of fill them in on what's going on. That's how she knows where my man Nagel is, Wolford Nagel. This dude here is so important because he feels like you said, he was a god. He's the only one since Erskine who was able to recreate the super soldier serum using Isaiah Bradley's blood. I ain't gonna pat myself on the back because that could have been a lot of people came up with that. But yeah, using Isaiah Bradley's blood to make that super soldier serum. We called it. That's what we said in episode when we saw him talking about his blood being taken in episode 2. That's what we talked about here in Normies and Nerds was that super soldier blood being used to create more serum, and Nagel was able to do it. And I'm curious because Nagel was able to do it before he was working on that with the CIA before before the blip. And dude, come on, let me know in the chat. How pissed off? I'm pissed off, dude. Did the CIA, the Shield, not teach anybody a lesson? Did Shield not teach anybody a lesson about bringing in folks from Hydra? What the Shield really do that? Cause like, come on, dude. Why would you go bring somebody in from Hydra right after you just found out that Hydra was infiltrating Shield and was about to kill millions of people a minute? Like, come on. How dumb can you be to continue to do that? But I guess that's the government, dude. Like they're not holding no punches. It wasn't even Shield this time. It was CIA. But anyway, this dude he's created 20 super soldier serums, and he talks about. I mentioned this as well. I didn't think it was money that they were stealing. That they're stealing out there. I see a little bit of Exarchum. I see. I didn't think it was money that they were stealing from that bank in episode 1. I definitely thought it was the super soldier serum that they were stealing in episode 1, and that's the case. They were stealing the 20 vials of super soldier serum that they had out there. So when it comes to Sharon and Nagel together, Sharon brought them there to kind of give them the clues, give them where to go. She has no intentions on really leaving Madripoor, even though she's talking about that pardon. Sharon has no intentions of really being on Sam or Bucky's side, if you ask me. She's doing her job for the power broker. And like I said, what the power broker wants is to get those 20 super soldier serum vials back from the flag smashers. That's it. And when we're looking at this dude Nagel here, and Zemo kills him, he dies the same way Erskine dies. If you create the super soldier serum, dude, you're gonna get a bullet in your chest. So don't fuck with it unless you're ready to die, basically. So he dies. They get out of it. You know, they fight to get out of it. I'm not going to go into the minutia of the fight of how they got out of it or whatever. But they got out of it, right? So Nagel is dead. And Sharon says, "We have a problem." She's talking to me, she's talking to Power Broker because it wasn't her intention for Nagel to die. Power Broker wants Nagel to stay alive so that he can find him and get some more of that super soldier serum. That's plain and simple to me. So looking at Nagel, that's to me, that's clear. It's kind of feeling clear to me a little bit, even talking about it a bit more here, that Sharon is definitely working with my man's the power broker. I don't think she is a power broker. I think the power broker is someone that we haven't seen in the MCU before. But yeah, Sharon to me, dude, Sharon's definitely working with the power broker, and she fucked up by letting Zemo kill him. She might be in a little bit of trouble, who knows? But she fucked up by letting Zemo kill him because now all the water in the well is dried. It just dried up. They can't recreate this shit no more because this guy had the magic key, magic formula. So that's the case there. And who knows? Maybe Power Broker does have a couple in the stash. All right. Nagel said that Flag Smasher stole all of them, but maybe she does have a few in the stash there. But also, and who shot Shelby? Dude, it was Sharon. Sharon was their guardian angel the whole time. B. Sharon was guarding. Sharon was the guardian angel for Sam, Bucky, and Zemo. She's the one who helped them get out. She's the one who got them in the car and got them to Hightown. Sharon was the one. She's that badass to be able to do that and to go from roof to roof and be able to keep folks alive. And if it wasn't Sharon, it was someone with the power broker because, like I said, the power broker, he may be revealing himself a little bit, but at the end of the day, if he can get his super soldier serum back, then he's going to be good. All right. So coming up next, we got my homegirl here, Carly. Carly is took a turn, dude. So we see a bit more here, and to be honest, I was a bit confused of what was going on with their cause because they talk about the GRC wanting things to go back the way it was, and I was a bit confused of why they were taking medicine to displacement camps. So the whole time, yo, I thought that the displacement camps were for people who came back from the blip and didn't have anywhere to live. Nah, it's more fucked up. The replacement camps were people who found somewhere to live, who might have resettled in a new home, who might have moved on up in their life. And just because people come back from a blip 5 years later, they're out of a home. Like, yo, to me, if that happened to me, that would make me want to become a revolutionary too as well. Because first of all, you're living through this hell period of the 5 year period after the blip. And I mean after the snap, living in that period. You're working to make everything work for you. And you do. Like you get your own house, you come back and you move on up in the world, you're making everything work. And then all of a sudden, everybody comes back and you lose your shit. That's what she said in the that's what she said in episode 2. Is that the GRC cares more about the people and putting things back the way they were than they care about the people who were here during the snap. And to me, that's just wrong. So we see the GRC more. We understand more about them. We know that's who they're not just a council. It seems like they're not just a council of folks who is just helping get people in one direction or another. The GRC seems to be a whole organization that is militarized. They don't just do simple shit. They might do some assault missions. They might go on some missions to help stabilize government. That may be what the GRC is getting into. That's why we see John Walker with the GRC busting into those camps trying to find Carly. So Carly's whole beef with the GRC is very legit, and we see that she has her teacher. It seemed like she might have been an orphan or somebody who was important to her. They died in those replacement camps, and who knows? That person could be there because of the blip coming back and them not taking care of her because of all these people coming back in here. Who knows? That could be something even more to motivate them. But yeah, Carly, we definitely understand Carly a bit more now, and we're going to see Carly, I think, take more of a deep turn. So one thing I love that she talked about was getting that super soldier serum in her. As Nagel said, this batch of super soldier serum, it doesn't make you huge. It's just, it's more efficient, it's more potent, and it packs the punch that you need. So she fits in, and that explains it. I love that kind of explanation that we get there. Um, so yeah, and that kind of explains why my man's Isaiah Bradley might look that way as well. But when we're talking about Carly, I think she's definitely going to get darker, dude. And that could be a side effect. That could be a side effect of that super soldier serum. Is to not be able to tell when you're crossing the line. All right. So yeah, Carly here, she reached out to Nagel. All right, and that confused me a bit because she has the super soldier serum. Could she have given it to her? Could she have given it to the person that was dying there? I can't recall her name off the top of my head right now, but could she have given that serum to her and saved her life that way? Maybe she might not have been able to handle the serum in that state that she was in. But Carly is, she's to me playing a little bit of both sides as well, and she finds out that Nate was dead, and she's like, "We got the trump card now. If he wants to get this super soldier serum back, he's not going to kill us. We're safe. We're good." That's how we deal with the power broker because we got the trump card. But I don't think that that's the only super soldier serum. I think there's more. I think there might be one or two more vials that power broker has that will eventually go into the arms of Spitface. Call him Spitface because that's his name now. You can spit in the man's. You gonna let somebody spit in your face like that, bro? And to be real, he gets a little points. My main U.S. agent gets a few points for not going ham and not fucking this dude up for spitting in his face. He gets a few points there, but just the whole way he handled and everything, the whole way he walked in there was aggressive. That's not Cap style. He did show a little bit of Captain America worthiness by not beating the dude up. Everybody's gonna react to that, but even then, I think Steve would have got spat in the face and just nodded it off. Maybe just walked off and not pushed him like that or not shown any type of aggression. Because Steve was that type of reasonable dude. He knew the strength that he had. But yeah, there wasn't too much. I was big on John Walker moving forward in this episode. In the preview, I was big on him getting the super soldier serum and all that stuff. I still think John Walker's going to get the serum. And I think he's going to get it before he fights Sam for the shield. So yeah, we got some stuff. They're betting on Sam and Bucky giving them leads. So they're going to be tracking them down. They're going to be trying to be right there on their tail. And like you said, they don't care how we did it as long as we did it. So one, I think he's going to try to steal the credit from Sam and Bucky for finding their way to this super soldier serum and taking down the Flag Smashers. But who knows? Maybe by my man's John Walker gets to the super soldier serum and gets it to himself. Like I said, there's no canister. It's not like you have to do all that stuff. You just put it in your body. Yo, John Walker might find the super soldier serum himself and put it in his blood and go ham. And that might help him cross the line. All right. So the last thing, the biggest drop, the biggest shocker. Yo, we always end these episodes on bombs. On bombs. It's a bomb, dude. So we always end the episode on a banger. And this week, we got something so far out of left field that ain't nobody see it coming, bro. It's so far in the left field, we might get an inside the park home run on this show, bro. We get to see the Ayo. Ayo drops in. And this makes so much sense to me. Actually, like Bucky said, it took them a bit longer, if you ask me, than what you would expect. Because one, they see that I think it took a lot for the Wakandans to trust the killer of their king to be held in captivity in somewhere else other than Wakanda. At the end of that, like I said, we see Zemo. What's his name? T'Challa saves Zemo's life. T'Challa stopped Zemo from killing himself. They're going to take him into custody. I'm thinking they're taking him to Wakanda to have him in custody because we don't know where Zemo went. So we see Ayo come up, and they seem to be pretty pissed that Zemo's out of jail. So we got to figure out, there's going to be some type of dance some type of, because honestly, Zemo is right down the street, and if we see her here, we know that the Wakandan ship that she is in, the Wakandan airship that she is in, is probably right there above her. She probably just dropped right down when Bucky turned around. So they're right there on their tail, right there on their tail, dude. So they're going to have to come to some agreement as to how they're going to move forward and how they're going to let Zemo out. They're going to have to talk about, one, the super soldier serum. They're going to fill them in on that plan. Maybe Wakanda lets him have a pardon for a second to go out there and finish what he's doing. But I had to ask myself, how is Zemo going to stay out of jail? Because now that we're going to have the Wakandans on his tail because he killed T'Chaka, how is that going to go? And we also have to think too: is T'Challa still in rule here? And I think he is. I think T'Challa still is in rule, still is on top. I mean, we're just 6 months at the end game. I think he still has. I think he's still on top there. So, would Wakanda want Bucky? Would the Wakanda want to just go ahead and bring Zemo in to keep him? I don't think they want to bring Zemo in for blood. Now, with that being said, how Zemo might stay out is a miss. Like, to me, that's going to be one of the biggest things here, because I always thought Zemo would stay out, and to be honest, I never took into accountability the fact that Wakanda would raise hell if the killer of their king was out of jail. I still can't believe that he wasn't in jail in Wakanda, but they're trying to play diplomat and all that. So that being said, I mean, it's just great to see Ao in there. I'm wondering if she's going to stay here, and if we're going to see them have an exchange, see their conversation. We have to see that conversation. I'm just no wondering. We have to see that conversation next, and they know where Zemo is, and I don't think they're going to let go track of him. One interesting thing though, how they track down Bucky, I do think it's something to where, like we saw in WandaVision, where we saw Hayward tracking down the decaying vibranium. I think that could be a way that they found Bucky on their satellites or something to be able to track them down there. But yeah, it's going to me, this is a curveball, a huge curveball in this episode, and a huge curveball in Zemo moving forward is that now he has to deal with Wakandans. If he wants to stay out, if he wants to stay alive, he's going to have to deal with that and find some way to make amends. Like I said, T'Challa didn't want him dead, and I still don't think T'Challa would want him dead. But we had to kind of, you know, deal with and struggle with the fact that, damn, maybe at this point, is T'Challa dead in here? It's T'Challa. This is the first Wakandan taste that we're getting since Chadwick Boseman's death. Is this a part of, is he alive at this moment? Basically, could they be sending? Could it be more of an aggressive Wakandan leader that's coming after this moment here? Could that be the case? Who knows? Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking. Now to come in here, it's all good, Mike Porter. It's all good, Mike Porter. I know you be in here if you could, dude. It's good to see you in here, dude. So coming in here into the final round. In the final round, let's talk about what I'm thinking is coming forward, and then I'll get into the comments here in a second. So I was talking with my man Vernon on the phone. Vernon's my A1 day one from college, and there was an interview with one of the showrunners. Let me get back closer to the microphone here. There was an interview with one of the showrunners who was talking about a cameo in episode 5 that's going to be emotional. It's going to make people cry. Seeing AO here now, are we going to see Chadwick, man? I'm going to get into this on Tuesday. And I'm going to take some time, develop some theories, about what his involvement could be. But there was a bit of a chatter going on that Chadwick had shot some scenes for this or something. And to me, this just brings it right back up, dude. Are we going to see Chadwick's last MCU performance? That to me, one, when he's talking about it being emotional, making people cry in episode 5, Episode 5 is going to be huge because it always, it sets the stage for episode 6. So I could be off in thinking this. It could be Steve. I do think we're going to see Old Man Steve. To be honest, seeing Old Man Steve and T'Challa in the same episode would be wild. But we had to think about it that when they put this together, this was supposed to come out last year. That when they put this together, Chadwick was still alive, so the weight of seeing Black Panther wouldn't be so heavy as it is now. So yeah, seeing Black Panther now, seeing T'Challa pop up in an episode, to me would definitely overshadow any talk about seeing Steve in an episode at this point. So are we going to see T'Challa? That's a question. Let me know in the chat. Let me know. From a scale of 1 to 10, first off, we're going to start with T'Challa. Are we going to see T'Challa in this series? Let me know in the chat 1 to 10. Like I said, I'm going to talk about this a bit more on Tuesday, on our Tuesday stream, and when I have some time to really dig into some theories and dig into what we saw in this episode. But let me know in the chat. Do you think we're going to see T'Challa coming up? But yeah, dude, that's really all I have. Like I said, this episode was great. This episode gets a 9 for me. I loved it. I love the pacing. Love the tone. The different music is something in here that's very slept on. So the music that we got in there for Bucky. Oh, you think you think we're not gonna see T'Challa burn? All right. So the music that we see with Bucky. I love the callback to the Winter Soldier music when he's fighting the homeboy. When he's fighting those folks in the bar. That's brilliant. That to me was like, yeah, we got a bit of the Winter Soldier back because it is a little bit in there. I'm with Zemo. I don't think Shuri knew what she was doing. Shuri knew that she could get that mind wipe stuff out of his head, but there's a little bit of that Winter Soldier that's still in Zemo, dude. Still just a little tad bit that's still in there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going with this. Got some numbers coming in here. Werner, you said there's no way we're getting T'Challa. I don't know, man. Because that too. I know you're saying. I know it's a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is the lowest, but 2 might as well be a goddamn 1 here, bro. 2 might as well be a 1. So to me, you saying there's no way we're getting T'Challa. I wouldn't go that far, yo. Because they technically said that what's it called? The What If series is T'Challa's Chadwick Boseman's final performance in the episode. In the MCU. But technically, Winter Soldier is before that, so it's not capping that off. I don't know. We're talking about the killer. We're talking about the killer. Chadwick said, T'Challa said, "I'd kill him myself." That's what he said in Civil War. You still have you get to live. Not today. Your death is not. That's what T'Challa was on. T'Challa is huge on Zemo. Zemo is his responsibility, especially with what happened in Black Panther, the movie. When we're talking about Killmonger bringing in Claw, to me, that's going to up the ante for T'Challa to want to handle his killers himself. T'Challa's going to want to make sure that Zemo comes in and say he sends out AO, and if we don't see T'Challa in this series, I'm thinking that T'Challa may already be dead in the MCU. I'm thinking T'Challa is going to be dead. If we do not see T'Challa in this series, if we do not see T'Challa pop up in this series, I'm thinking, well, maybe not dead. He might not be. I don't know if they're going to kill him off of that sort. We don't know that. Or what the answer is going to be with how they're going to deal with him not being there anymore. But if we don't see T'Challa, what's up, Park Outdoors? If we don't see T'Challa in this series, then my assumption is going to be that whatever they have planned moving forward is going to have already been happening. So, yeah, I'm at about a 6 on seeing T'Challa. To me, that's where I'm at with it. I'm at about a 6 at this point on seeing T'Challa coming out of there. That's just me. So when it comes to the cameo, I'm about a 9 on seeing Old Man Cap. And like I said, episode 5. That's where we're hearing it's going to be a tearjerker. If Old Man Cap dies, I don't think I'm going to cry. Like my man Mike Porter said, we might get Cap, but if we see Chadwick Boseman, I will cry a river. And dude, if I see Chadwick Boseman I got it right here, dude. I see Chadwick Boseman, man. I'm a cry, bro. Like, there's no doubt about it. I might shed a tear, man. I might shed a tear. Wakanda forever, dude. So let me hop into the chat here. I'm going on for about 10 more minutes. Let me hop into the chat and see what's good. Let me scroll on back up here. Knock out some of these chats. What's good, Park Outdoors? Thanks for dropping in here, dude. Like I said, this episode for me was a 9. I'm pretty pissed off at Sam's sister right now because she can't seem to take a damn hint and just hang up the phone. You know who your brother is. All right, I'm gonna go off real quick before I get into the chat. Sarah, you know who the hell your brother is, Sarah. You know your brother is Falcon, Sarah. You know your brother is out there doing some top flight security type stuff, Sarah. First off, before I even get to you, Sam, for not having your phone on do not disturb on some very important shit. Sarah, when Sam answers the phone and he's talking very blatantly, put all your things aside, Sarah. Know that he is not in a position to talk right now, Sarah. Come on. He gave you all the hints in the world. All the hints in the world, but nah, you just wanted to keep talking about the damn boat. Come on. Put your shit to the side, Sarah. Put your shit to the side. So that's on Sarah. It's on Sam too, because Sam, dude, what were you doing? Put your phone on silent, bruh. Not on vibrate mode, because you can still hear vibrations. Two, that was the loudest vibration that I've heard on the cell phone in a while. But yeah, dude, put your phone on cell phone. Put your phone on do not disturb or something, bruh. Like, yeah, you blew it all. You blew it, bro. You blew it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into these comments here. Got XR Coon talking about the Madripoor. Yeah, Madripoor was a dope scene, man. Madripoor was dope. I'm looking forward. I don't think this is the last we're going to see Madripoor in the MCU for sure. Looking forward to getting back there and learning more about it, yo. Vernon talking about Sam. Sharon was playing both sides. Sam is about to clear her name, though. Both of those, Vernon, is true. Sharon is, to me, playing both sides. Actually, I don't even think Sharon was playing both sides here. I think Sharon was on one side, and I think that's the power broker side. As I mentioned, that's how she knew Sam and Bucky came into Madripoor, because who was always watching? The power broker. Power broker's always watching, dude. So power broker let them know that Sam and Bucky came in and like, you need to come in here and get a trail on this. Not because he wants to stop Sam and Bucky, but because, especially Bucky, because he might see Bucky as an opportunity to get some more of that serum. If he can find another doctor to do some work on his blood or what have you. But he has Sharon keeping them alive, stringing them along so that he can bet on the team. I love that. I love that. He's betting on the team that has a winning hand. He's betting on Sam and Bucky to be able to wrap this up and to be able to lead him to the 20 vials of super soldier serum that he wants. That's it to me. So yeah, Sam is definitely going to clear her name though, and I think she does want that. I mean, who wouldn't want their name cleared? Who wouldn't want that part? And whether you plan to go back or not, I don't think she plans to visit their life again. But whether you plan to or not, who wouldn't want a partner to be able to go to America and not be a wanted person when you touch down on that soil there? Ed Sarkoon, you think that Ross is Power Broker, and what if the blood is Abomination's blood? So yeah, I'm still on the bandwagon that we haven't met Power Broker, and I think that's the way I would like it to be. I like the character in the comics, the new Power Broker character in the comics. Not the Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent Power Broker, that's the first one that came out, but the new Power Broker, the one that has a bit of powers himself. I like that. I like the way he looks in the comics. I like the way that he seems to have that demeanor, and to me, that type of character is perfect for the MCU. So I would love for the Power Broker to be someone that we haven't seen yet, because we do need some new faces. We do need to expand things, but I'm not kicking that out of the possible realm that Ross is Power Broker, because you do need an alias sometimes when you're in the government and you're working on things. Power Broker could be his alias. Also, XR Coon again. What if it's Abomination's blood? To me, that's a little bit left field. It's possible. It's very possible, but again, these threads. That's not a wasted scene. That's not a wasted word so far since episode 2. Episode 2 and episode 3 Every piece of dialogue is important. Every scene has hits and has a huge importance in there. Except, like I said, except for the minute that Punch Face was on, U.S. Agent was on the screen. Everything has so much weight to it. So, I definitely think that with Isaiah Bradley talking about they took my blood, they came into my cell. Yeah, he didn't say that for no reason. They took his blood, and I think that's the ones. I think they're using that to make that serum. Maybe the lady in the car in the first episode that Bucky might have authorized Nagel. Could be, dude. It could be, but again, like, yo, because yeah, that makes sense, B. That makes sense, Brandon, because it can't just be Shield that we see there's this remaining remnants of Hydra that's still in the United States government. So that's clear, but even then, bro, it's like, yo, even if you got somebody suggesting bringing in somebody from Hydra, check that motherfucker out. Check him out because I'm pretty sure they may be Hydra themselves. Like, yo, if you're telling, if you're gonna be like, all right, I know Shield just fell. Hear me out. Hear me out. I know Shield just fell because there was we brought in Zola and we brought in some of their Hydra people when we thought Hydra fell for the first time. I know, but hear me out. There's a guy who can develop super soldier serum. He worked for Hydra. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him. Yo, anybody told me that, I'm checking them out, yo. Because like after we just avoided Project Insight on killing millions of people at one time in Winter Soldier, you're gonna turn right back around and go to another Hydra agent. Whatever's coming to them, they deserve. For real, for real. But yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it was that woman. Could have been her. Could have been somebody else in there. That's a very deep dig, Vern. Very deep dig. I see you. I see you in here. So yeah. Also, who shot Selby? From outside the room. Yeah, that was definitely me, Sharon. Man, Sharon was their guardian angel, guiding them through Madripoor. Guiding them through Madripoor. All right, and what were those tracking devices that they kept dropping for Bucky? Actually, those were I'm gonna say the word wrong, but those were the kimono beads. Those are vibranium beads. They used them. I think they dropped them because they knew Bucky would recognize it because it's Wakandan, and it might even be some type of relationship between his arm being vibranium and coming across some other vibranium substances. Who knows? But yeah, that those are kimono beads. Those beads are what they use to communicate. Saw that in Black Panther. They used it to communicate. They also were able to use it to help Everett Ross. They were able to use that to kind of help him stay alive after he was shot in the back in Black Panther. So those beads are very powerful. They got a lot of components to them and can be used in different ways. So yeah, that's what they were dropping there. Now I think it was intentional to lure Bucky out. And yeah, like I said, dude, they probably, if she's there, she ain't drive there. That ship that camouflages, that ship is up there above that city. So she probably dropped down right after that and was dropping the beads from the sky. But yeah, I like that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you're talking about T'Challa, the possibility to see T'Challa in there. We got the 2, got the 5. Anybody who just joined in, let me know. Do you think we might get T'Challa in this episode? Let me know, scale of 1 to 10, what you guys are thinking. Mike Porter said, he's tempering his expectations since WandaVision. That's the thing, dude. My expectations, I wasn't so butthurt over WandaVision. And, my expectations are always high because at the end of the day, when I've always started watching Marvel content, I'm a fanboy. All of this stuff, I always had the biggest expectations because it's Marvel. But at the same time, I'm not going to be hurt because I know that they're still delivering a great experience. So yeah, so like that's why I wasn't so hurt with WandaVision. Hate to keep going back there because at the end of the day, I still enjoyed that experience of the fight between the two witches. We hadn't gotten that in MCU yet, and I love that experience of getting that in there. So my expectations may be a bit high to see T'Challa come up in the episode. Like I said, I'm at about a 6 right now that we might see him in there. I'd be very wrong, and I'm not going to be the first one to say I'd be wrong on it if we don't see him, but I'm not gonna be hurt if we don't see him. You know what I mean? Because we still got Wakanda, like we still had the Wakandan presence in the episode, in the show, And to me, that fleshes it out. Like to think that deep, and I imagine it's a point where they're writing these episodes, and they're like, all right, they got Zemo out of jail, and they probably wrote the whole episode, got through it, and someone said, "But wait, wouldn't Wakanda have something to say about that? Wouldn't Wakanda feel a way about his killer being let out of jail?" And I imagine that Wakanda is that Wakanda definitely knew before U.S. Agent knew, and it's dope. This shows how advanced Wakanda is again. That they were able to find Zemo before any other government agency was able to find Zemo. And at the end of the day, Zemo is out there walking around pretty easily. You know what I mean? He's out there going around pretty easily. But yeah, man. Um, the Wakandan presence in the show to me is dope. Love the way they brought him in with the do do do. That music is always goosebumps there. So yeah, last comment before we get out of here. Told the missus that it'd be an hour stream, and right now I'm at 59 minutes and 45 seconds, so a little bit right on point. Vernon says, I think Zemo will go after the Asian father who Bucky is friends with for killing his son as a ransom. That's a good theory, V. I like the way your head. I like where your head is at right there, man. I like the way your head. I like where your head is at. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know how much longer we're gonna see Zemo in the show. I know we might have him for one more episode. He might be in there for the rest of the episodes, but I think once he gets confirmation that they're with the super soldier serum, he may stick it all the way out to make sure that super soldier serum is done and gone. To have you there, but yeah, I definitely think he's going to get away. Definitely think he's going to get away, and we're going to lead into the Thunderbolts. I'm excited to see how they're dealing. There's a bunch of problems coming up here. I'm excited to see how they're going to deal with and interweave this stuff coming in to bring up the Thunderbolts, because I do think we are going to see Zemo dealing with the Thunderbolts, maybe having charge of it. Right now, it's a bit shaky on how he can go from being where he is right now, having this beef with Wakanda and all that stuff, how he can go from there to eventually taking charge of a whole team. But yeah, dude, it's definitely going to be interessante. He did ask about him on the plane, because he didn't. I just think he was like, "Who is this guy?" Because again, Zemo went through all of the things that that was leaked out about Hydra. So when he's looking at those names, he recognizes every one of those names, except for Nakajima, and he's like, "Who is Nakajima?" And that's because he didn't. That wasn't on the hit list. If you know what I mean. He's like, "This is a new one. This is a different one on the men's list." So yeah, we could be planting the seed that he's going to go and find him. Maybe. Like I said, I do think we're going to see Winter Soldier. I do think we're going to see Bucky go meet back up with Nakajima and maybe in episode 5 and talk it out, and he gets his little confirmation that he can still be a good guy. But could Zemo be with him, and could he hold him for ransom? Very, very possible. Very, very possible. So yeah, yo, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everybody. Look, I love it. I love the support that we get here. New channel, growing channel. But yo, when I can have 3 viewers in here for a whole hour while I'm talking about, consistently for a whole hour while I'm talking about this stuff here, yo, that just shows me nothing but love, dude. I appreciate the love here. We're done. We're gonna wrap it up. Go out, enjoy your Saturday. Go back and rewatch. That's my favorite thing. I love going back and rewatching, seeing things I missed, things that may change my perspective on the theories. We are gonna have our show on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. I'm talking about just more theories just based off. I'm gonna go into my theory room and dig some things up here. I'm sorry, Tuesday night's at 10 o'clock. Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, we're gonna be going into theories, talking about some more theories that came out of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's also on Tuesdays is when I get in some of the nerdy news. So yeah, maybe Tuesday we talk a bit of that Black Widow trailer that dropped as well. So yeah, come back Tuesday, then come back Thursday as well for the preview. But yo, for now. Oh, also, if you haven't yet, if you have Amazon Prime, go check out Invincibles. I love that series. I'm very into it. It's pretty good if you ask me. It's kind of a good American version of an anime. I'm not saying it's based on an anime, but I get anime vibes, but it's Americanized, and to me it's a pretty good show. Yeah, go check that out. As I always say, yo, I appreciate you all for being here. And Normies Nerds, I am your Normie Sensei, Master Kunch here at Normies Nerds. We're here signing off from the final rounds at the dojo. Look, I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay easy, stay breezy,